Hi viewers, this is Srinivasa Rao Gudipati, Assistant Professor of Commerce and Certified Financial Planner. I am here to present you the concept of evaluation of mutual funds performance. Before going to start my session, I request you all subscribe my YouTube channel Gudipati Srinivasa Rao. The very purpose of my YouTube channel is to provide the education content relating to existing investors and the prospective investors. Now, I will begin my presentation, Mutual Funds Performance Evaluation. See, before going to start my session, first of all, let us understand why we need to evaluate the performance of mutual funds. The first reason is to know your investment value is the first primary objective for evaluating mutual funds performance. The second reason is if you want to sell your mutual fund units, so that you need to understand what is the level of return generated on your investments. The another reason is for evaluating the performance of mutual funds. If you want to compare one scheme to another scheme, we require to evaluate the performance of the mutual funds. That is the reason why we need to evaluate the performance of mutual funds. You may ask the question, normally the evaluation values are available in concerned websites and all. Yes, of course. Those values are calculated for certain stipulated period. Suppose if you want to sell your mutual fund units now, according to at present date, maybe the values are not available. So that you must understand how to calculate the performance with your own application of knowledge. After seeing this presentation, you are in a position to calculate entire performance of your mutual fund. That is the objective of this presentation. Just go through how we have to calculate the performance of the mutual funds. Before going to start, what is mutual fund? First of all, let us understand. What is mutual fund? We have discussed so many times in my earlier presentations. Once again, I repeat, the mutual fund is a mechanism for pooling money by issuing units to the investors and investing funds in securities in accordance with the objectives as disclosed in offer document. Simply, mutual fund is a pooled money which is collected from various categories of investors, and the pooled money is managed by the professional personality. Simply, we can call him as a fund manager. Fund manager manages the fund and invests that fund as per the present capital market situation and generates the revenue and distributed the revenue to unit holders. This is the entire mechanism of mutual funds we know very well. Now, for evaluation of mutual funds, what is the parameter? For evaluating mutual funds, the main aspect is the NAV value. NAV is the source for evaluating the mutual fund performance. Here, what is NAV? NAV means net asset value of a mutual fund unit. How it is arrived? Net asset value. Net asset value is nothing but the present total capital market value of a particular fund divided by number of units outstanding in that particular fund. You will get easily NAV values. These NAV values are calculated every day. So, because every day there is a trading. So, because of the trading, there is a possibility of changing the fund value. So, every day at the end of trading, you will get that day, so NAV value. Now, just see that NAV calculation literally with a formula based. We have seen already what is mutual fund. Now, net asset value. The performance of a particular scheme of a mutual fund is denoted by net asset value. If you want to measure the performance, NAV is the base for any mutual fund. So mutual fund invests the money collected from the investors in security markets. In simple words, NAV is the market value of the securities held by the scheme. Since market value of securities changes every day, NAV of the scheme also varies on day-to-day basis. That is the reason why we need to calculate NAV on day basis. Now, see the formula for NAV calculation. See, what is the formula for NAV? The market value of securities of a scheme divided by the total number of units of the scheme. So, this is the formula for calculating NAV. I hope now you are getting what is mutual fund, what is NAV, why we need to calculate the performance of the mutual fund. Now, how to calculate? How to evaluate the performance of mutual funds? For mutual fund performance measurement, we have different types of rate of returns calculation. The simple returns and the compounded returns and the compounded annual growth returns. These are the categories for calculating the evaluation of the mutual funds performance point of view. Now see the every model with a practical example. Now how to calculate mutual fund returns by using simple rate of return methodology. Just observe the given example. So the example, X mutual fund NAV at the time of purchase 10 rupees, at present NAV 12 rupees. If there is no dividend payment, what is the rate of return? So normally the NAV values are available on the websites, concerned mutual fund website. Otherwise you can go through AMFI India website. You will get the NAV values on day basis. Now see this example. In this case, what is the return? In a simple way, we can calculate the return equal to, the formula is at present NAV of a mutual fund minus at the time of investing or purchasing mutual fund NAV divided by at the time of purchasing mutual fund NAV value into 100, you will get here 20%. In this case, at present NAV is 12 rupees. At the time of purchasing, the NAV of the mutual fund is 10 divided by 10 into 100, you will get 20%. Here the return is 20%. It means if there is an investment in this X particular mutual fund, you will earn 20% rate of return. This is the meaning of the simple return calculation. Now we can apply the same rate of return on every unit. Here the unit value is 10 rupees at the time of purchase. On 10 rupees face value of the unit, multiply with 20% return, you will get 2 rupees. Means every 1 unit of 10 rupee value, you will get 2 rupees as a return. So this is a simple way of calculating return on your mutual fund. Now, we will take another example. See the second example. Suppose X mutual fund NAV at the time of purchase 10 rupees, dividend paid 1 rupees on every unit. At present X dividend NAV 13 rupees. What is the rate of return? See in this given example, comparatively last example, what is the difference we have identified? What is the difference? The difference is the dividend payment. See normally the mutual funds having the option of growth. See in such a case there is no dividend payment. We can assume here this particular fund as a growth scheme. But here certain mutual fund schemes are income oriented schemes. In such a cases there is a payment of dividend. In such a case, how to calculate return? Just follow this formula. Simply applying the earlier formula but a little bit change. Here dividend also we have received 1 rupee per unit. Now the formula is at present NAV value of a particular fund minus at the time of purchasing mutual fund NAV value plus here whatever the amount we have received dividend you need to add back divided by at the time of purchasing mutual fund NAV into 100. In this case you will get at present 13 rupees NAV minus at the time of purchasing fund NAV is 10 plus Here the dividend payment is 1 rupee per unit divided by 10 into 100. You will get 40%. Here the return is 40%. It means every 100 rupees investment in this particular mutual fund, you will earn 40 rupees return. See, this is the scenario. Now we can apply the same percentage on per unit also. If there is a per unit value is 10 rupees, on 10 rupees 40%, 4 rupees you will get. 4 rupees means for every unit of mutual fund purchase, you will get 4 rupees as a return. So this is the scenario in this simple return calculation. So once again go back. Simple return without dividend. Simple return calculation with dividend we have learned. So we have seen the simple return calculation, so with dividend and without dividend. So simply once again I am reminding you, the formula is at present NAV of a particular mutual fund, the minus at the time of purchasing mutual fund NAV value divided by at the time of purchasing mutual fund NAV value into 100. This is a simple way of calculating the simple return on a mutual fund in case there is no dividend. If there is a dividend payment, you need to add back in numerator part, so dividend also. In a simple way, you can calculate the returns. Now, compounded returns. How to calculate compounded returns? In which case we need to calculate compounded returns? We will see that. Have a look with another example. See, annualized returns and the compound returns we will calculate here. See, before going to compound returns, you must understand the annualized returns also. So what is annualized returns? Now, in earlier example, we have not taken into account the period of investment. Simply we have calculated the rate of return. Suppose if you want to calculate by taking into account the period of investment, so that we need to calculate annualized rate of returns. See, SEBI has given the clear guidelines. If the returns are calculated for less than the period of a year, then the returns must be converted into annualized returns. Suppose the period is relating to less than 1 year, then we need to calculate annualized returns. Now take this example. X mutual fund NAV at the time of purchase on 1st January 2020, 10 rupees. At present, 1st April 2020, NAV is 10 rupees 75 paise. If there is no dividend payment, what is the rate of the return? Simply the formula is, see that at present NAV 10.75 minus at the time of purchasing NAV 10 divided by 10 into 100, you will get 7.5%. See, 7.5% means 7 rupee 50 paise on every 100 rupee investment. Suppose if you want to calculate on every unit, here unit value is 10, so multiply with 7.5%, you will get 0.75. On every unit of 10 rupee value mutual fund, you will get as a return 0.75. Here the period, see that clearly, 1st January 2020 to 1st April 2020. The investing period is only 3 months. But here return is also representing that particular 3 months. Now, for 3 months 7.5%, ultimately per year how much return you need to calculate. This is nothing but annualized return. How it is calculated, just go through it. Annualized return equal to the periodic return divided by the period into number of periods in a particular year. Here 7.5% is for 3 months period. That is the reason why you need to take in denominator portion 3, multiply with 12. Here month wise data we have taken. So 3 months, number of periods 12. So per annum 12 months. So multiply with 12, you will get 30%. Here the annualized rate of return is 30%. So far we have seen, once again go back, simple return calculation without dividend, simple return calculation with dividend, then annualized returns calculation. Now, with this idea, simple return and annualized return, we can go for compounding periodic returns calculation. Now, we will see compounding periodic returns calculation. So, before going to that, once again, remind the concepts of earlier one. Simple return calculation in case of no dividend payment, simple return calculation in case of dividend payment, and the next one is annualized returns. Now we are calculating compounding returns. In which case compounding return is calculated? How to calculate? Now we will see that with this example, practical example. Suppose in a given situation, X mutual fund closing NAVs on every month in the year 2019 as follows. First month, obviously January. Second month, February. Third month, like this. In 12 months period in 2019, so has given the information like this. NAVs at the end of first month and second month, like third month, fourth month, like this, up to 12 months period, the data is given. So before going to calculate, in which case compounding periodic returns are applied. If a series of periodic returns are available, then only we need to calculate compounding periodic returns per year. But this is the best methodology for calculating the accurate rate of return on mutual funds. If you have taken more periods, you will get more accurate results. So instead of months, you can take weeks also data, or day-wise data also you can take. The data which is available on a concerned website of the mutual fund, or you can go to amphiindia.com, you will get the information. Now, see this, how to calculate compounding periodic returns with this practical example. Now, maintain 3 columns like this manually, month column, NAV and monthly returns. If you are very good in Excel calculations, we can easily calculate with the help of Excel also. We will discuss how to calculate in Excel in next presentation. For the time being, you must understand how to calculate manually a periodic returns calculation. See, first month 10 rupees NAV which is given in the question, like second month, third month, fourth month, fifth, sixth, seventh, like this. The data which is taken from in a given the question. In a question, month and NAV is given. These two columns we have taken in a solution part, month and NAV. Now we need to calculate monthly returns. How to calculate monthly returns here? By taking into account the current monthly return, comparatively previous monthly return, then only we can calculate monthly returns. Here for January, monthly return calculation is not possible. For calculation of the January monthly return, you need to take before January month return. So you need to keep here the nil or a dash. Now we can go for February returns. From January to February, what is the movement of NAV? At present NAV is 10.8. In January, the NAV is 10. So by taking into account these two NAV values for February monthly return calculation, the formula is as follows. At present NAV 10.8 minus immediately preceding month NAV, January NAV 10, divided by January NAV value 10 into 100, you will get 8%. In a similar manner, other months also. Suppose for February, see here already calculated. Then for March, see for March, NAV at present 11 rupees minus for March month immediately preceding month is February. February month NAV is 10.8. 11 minus 10.8 by 10.8 into 100, you will get 1.85%. Like other months also, you need to calculate monthly returns. Here, in certain months, say for example in April, the negative returns because the NAV value is comparatively less. So that you will get negative returns. So minus 0.91 here, like in other months also. Negative returns like June and October, like this. Whatever, either positive or negative, you need to calculate every month. Period wise returns you need to calculate. After that, sum of monthly returns you need to calculate. Sum of monthly returns means simply add all positive values minus all negative values, so that you will get the final figure of monthly return 23.54. Then average monthly returns. You need to average it here. At the time of averaging, you need to take 11 months only, not 12 months, because we have taken the rate of returns for 11 months. Simply you can 23.54 divided by 11, you will get 2.14. This is average monthly return. So, average monthly return is 2.14. In earlier example, we have seen that compounded return calculation. Here, we can apply the same compounding principle here. 2.14, the formula is 1 plus periodic return. Here the periodic return per month 2.14 by 100, you will get 0.0214. Whole power number of periods here 12. So finally, after getting this value minus 1, you will get 0.28. Multiply with 100, you will get 28%. Here the 28% is the annualized return. See, instead of calculating like this, suppose you have taken directly starting January value 10, at present December 12.5, by applying simple formula, what happens? 12.5 minus 10 divided by 10 into 100, you will get 25%. But originally here, by taking into account compounded, here the value is 28%. That is the reason why you need to take for performance measurement of any mutual fund like this compounded rate of return by taking into account more periods. I hope now you are having an idea of calculation compounded returns. Now once again, we'll go back. What are the concepts so far we have covered? Simple return without dividend calculation, simple return with dividend calculation, annualized returns, and finally compounded the returns. See, in compounded return is the most important aspect. We can apply directly this compounded return to know the performance of the mutual fund directly. Now, another important calculation, which is calling it as CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. This methodology is suggested by SEBI. In every mutual fund should follow CAGR methodology for publishing their data for the concerned people. So CAGR calculation, how it is calculated, what is the mechanism behind that, we will see with a practical example. So CAGR, what is CAGR? Compounded annual growth rate. CAGR. The mutual fund scheme larger than a year period, you need to calculate CAGR according to SEBI. And now, just observe the given data. Mr. X purchased 150 units of Y company mutual fund on 1st January 2019 at 10 rupees per unit. On 1st July 2019, company declared dividend 2 rupees per unit. After that, ex-dividend NAV 13 rupees per unit. On 1st April 2020, company declared 1 rupee per unit, ex-dividend. NAV, ex-dividend NAV 14 rupees per unit. Calculate CAGR. This is the situation. Now observe closely. The period of investment started on 1st January 2019. Now at present date we can say 1st April 2020. The total period is more than 1 year period. This is the first point we can observe from the given question. Another thing is, here the investor received dividend 2 times in the year 2019 and in the year 2020. In this case, we need to calculate compounded annual growth rate so that we can understand the performance of our fund annually. See, how to calculate? Practically in this given example. Just observe the given table. You need to maintain the columns like this. We can calculate manually with the help of simple calculator. Particulars, number of units, value per unit. You need to maintain value 2 times here, value inner column, outer column like this for the sake of convenience for better understanding. Now, According to given question, the investment starting period is 1st January 2019. Investment, how many units were taken at the time of investing? 150 units. What is the rate per unit? 10. So finally, we will have the value of 1500. So this is the case. So once again, go back to the question. In a question, 150 units of I company mutual fund on 1st January 2019 at 10 rupee per unit. This is the investment. So we have taken the same values here. On 1st July 2019, what happens? In a given question, it is clearly mentioned on 1st July 2019, company declared dividend 2 rupees per unit. So that we need to take dividend. So on 1st July 2019, dividend paid. So dividend payment is 2 rupees per unit. We have 150 units so far, multiply with per unit dividend 2 rupees, we will get 300 rupees worth dividend value. In CAGR, there is a basic assumption of the value which is received by way of dividend invested again in the same fund with an existing X NAV, X dividend NAV value. Here, after payment of dividend, what is the NAV is nothing but X dividend NAV. In a given question, X dividend NAV after paying 2 rupee per unit dividend, 13 rupees. So that we have 300 rupees value. So with that 300 rupees, the value per unit 13, how many units we will get here? 23 units. 300 divided by 13, we can buy with the help of 300 rupees dividend amount, 23 additional units. So that now we have the total units, earlier 150, now because of dividend, we have received 23 units additionally. So now the total units 173 holding. At present NAV value is 13. So the value 173 into 13, 2249. At present worth is 2249 on 1st July 2019 date. Now again what happened? On 1st April 2020, they have paid dividend 1 rupee per unit. Now we have 173 units. So on 173 units, per unit 1 rupee dividend, we will receive 173 value. So here we have received the worth of 173 rupees as a dividend. Again, this 173 rupees invested in the existing mutual fund at the rate of per unit 14. Here, after paying dividend on 1st April 2020, X dividend NAV is 14 rupees. So that we need to buy every unit at the rate of 14 rupees. For 173 rupees, we will get 12 units. Here, for understanding, I have taken round figures, but in practical case, you need to take the decimal points also. So that 12 additional units we can buy with 173 rupees. So that now we can have the total units 173 earlier, now additional unit 12, total 185. So 185 at present unit value is 14, so that total value is 2590. See, this is the way of calculating your investment worth at the time of beginning, at the time of ending. Now we have two values, at the time of beginning and at the time of ending. Now the period between investment date and at present date is 1st January 2019 to 1st April 2020. It is about more than a year. Simply we can convert that particular period in terms of number of days. Go through the example. See the situation. CAGR, compounded annual growth rate for the period 1st January 2019 to 1st April 2020. See, in this case, what is the time period from 1st January 2019 to 1st April 2020? We will have 456 days. Complete 2019 year, 365 days. And January of 2020, 31 days. February of 2020, 29 days. And the March complete 31 days of 2020 year. Now the total days 456 days. So your investment value from 1st January 2019 1500 has become 2590 at present, means on April 2020. Now by taking into account, so this period of investment then annually what will be the rate we are calculating here. But this growth 2590 from 1500, this growth is for 456 days. Suppose for 1 year means 365 days, what is the growth? Simply we can apply the formula of CAGR. CAGR equal to, so at present investment value 2590 divided by, at the time of investing, the value of investment 1500 whole power number of days in a year 365 divided by this total investment period 456 days minus 1. Finally you will get 1.5479 minus 1 equal to 54.79 percentage. Simply we can say 54.79 percentage. This is a way of calculating CAGR. Understood the calculation of CAGR. Once again I repeat, what are the concepts we have learned so far? Simple return without dividend calculation, simple return with dividend, an annualized return and a compounding return, and finally CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. Now finally we will see one more example. In that example, if there is a exit load in a given fund, in such a case, how to calculate CAGR? Same manner like earlier example, but little bit changes. At the end, we need to adjust the NAV value with an exit load. Just go through the example, then we can conclude the today's presentation. Just see that with a practical example. Same example I have taken, but only the change is exit load 1%. Exit load means at the time of exit from the mutual fund scheme, you need to pay certain charges. Those charges simply we can say 1% exit load here. Once again I repeat the question. Mr. X purchased 150 units of Y company, the mutual fund scheme, on 1st January 2019 at 10 rupee per unit. On 1st July 2019, company declared 2 rupees per unit dividend. After that, ex-dividend NAV 13 rupee per unit. On 1st April 2020, company declared dividend 1 rupee per unit. Ex-dividend NAV 14 rupees per unit. Exit load is 1%. Calculate CAGR. In this case, how to calculate? Same example like earlier, only the change is exit load 1%. So observe carefully the given question. Just same example like earlier example, only the change is exit load 1%. Just see the calculation part. The same calculations like earlier example, except the last one. The last one is exit load effect. Once again I repeat the calculation part. On 1st January 2019, invested 150 units at the rate 10 rupee per unit. Total worth of investment 1500. On 1st July 2019, dividend they have paid per unit 2 rupees. Now we have 2 rupees per unit dividend, 150 units on 150 units 2 rupee per unit dividend, you will get 300. Now in CAGR calculation, these 300 rupees again invested in the scheme with an amount of NAV, ex-dividend NAV here 13 rupees. Now 300 rupees used for investing again in the same fund. At the time of investing on 1st July 2019, NAV value is 30. So that you will get 23 units. We have only 300 rupees. So that 300 divided by 13, you will get 23 units. Earlier we have 150 units, now additional 23 units. Total 173 units. What is the worth now? 173 units. At present NAV is 13. Now the worth of investment on 1st July 2019, 2249. Simple. In a similar way, on 1st April 2020, dividend has paid on every unit 1 rupee. We have 173 units. On 173 unit, we will receive 1 rupee dividend on every unit. So that the dividend amount is 173 rupees. Again, this 173 rupees utilized for investing in the same scheme. At the time of investing on 1st April 2020, the unit value is 14. So that with the help of 173 rupees, we will get only 12 units. 173 divided by 14, you will get 12 units. Now the total units are 173 plus 12, Now the total units are 185. So actually the NAV value is 40. Now if you want to withdraw from the scheme, you need to apply the value of exit load. So that if you are applying the exit load, the NAV value is adjusted accordingly the exit value. Here the exit value is 1% on every unit. Here 14 rupees per unit NAV minus 1% exit load. So 1% exit load 0.14. So 14 rupees minus 0.14, you will get 13.86. So NAV value after taking into consideration of exit load, so NAV value is 13.86. Now the worth of investment 185 multiplied with 13.86. So the value is 2564. So with this 2564 at present value at the time of exiting you will get. So if you want to calculate CAGR in this particular situation, now take these two values. At the time of investing, the worth of investment 1500. Now at present the worth of investment is 2564. Now CAGR. See the CAGR. Total time period from 1st January 2019 to, so at present 1st April 2020. So total period is 456 days. Now our investment at present is 2564. At the time of investing, the value is 1500. Now you see the formula. CAGR equal to compounded annual growth rate equal to at present investment value divided by at the time of purchasing investment value whole power 365 days divided by number of days holding investment minus 1. You will get finally 1.54 minus 1, 0.54. So multiply with 100, the percentage is 54. If there is an exit load, we can say CAGR is compounded annual growth rate is 54%. So this is a way of calculating compounded annual growth rate. Dear all, I hope you understood all the concepts. So before going to exit from your mutual fund, apply all these concepts, understand which scheme is having more CAGR, which scheme is having less CAGR. If you want to exit from the mutual fund, first exit from mutual fund the category which is giving less CAGR. So this is exclusively taking into account return only. In next my presentation, I will tell you how to calculate risk on your mutual fund. By taking into account risk and return, finally we will come up with which mutual fund is the best in your portfolio. Thank you so much for your patience listening continuously 40 minutes, about 40 minutes. So once again, before going to complete my session, I request you all subscribe my YouTube channel, Gudipati Srinivasa Rao. You will get all my updates.